knees or in your lap. Roll your shoulders up by your earlobes and down your spine. And do that a couple of times. And soften your shoulders away from your earlobes. And keep your eyes soft or closed. And begin to pull your heart forward and your shoulder blades back. And keep your chin level with the earth. And begin to become more aware of the space surrounding your body. And the space underneath your seat. And anchor your sitting bones down. And as you press your sitting bones down, start to lengthen your spine all the way to the crown of your head. Notice the space in front of your body, your back body, both sides of your body. Imagine that you can incorporate this space surrounding your body into this shape of seated meditation. Notice the temperature of your skin, the sound of your own breath echoing throughout your body. And while we stay in seated meditation for a few more moments, notice how your body responds to being still. And whenever you're ready, begin to blink open your eyes. And so the arm pattern that we're going to work with today is a little bit of a scooping action. So I'd like you to take your fingertips together. And as you inhale, like you are scooping your hands forward and up, begin to raise your arms up. And then swivel your fingertips together so the palms face down. And as you exhale, begin to press your palms down in front of your face, chest, and belly. And then we'll do that again. So swivel your fingertips together. And like you were scooping the air in front of your body, inhale, allow your arms to rise. And exhale, press your palms down. Let's do that a couple of times. And there'll be this moment, usually in front of your face, where your fingertips need to swivel. And do this one more time, keeping your shoulders soft. And soften your palms into your lap and blink open your eyes. Make sure that you have enough space to your right and tend your right fingertips to the right. Just enough that you have that leverage as you sweep your left arm up and overhead. And just take a traditional side bend, waking up the left side of your body. Perhaps lean back slightly, gazing underneath your upper arm. And take another slow round of breath here. Inhale, stay. And as you exhale, begin to gaze forward and then reach your left arm forward. And the palm will face up, and then trace the front line of your navel. And then place your left finger pads down. And then do the same thing on the other side. Inhale, let your right arm rise up. And then stay here for a few moments, leaning back, gazing underneath your upper arm. Wake up your right side body. One more inhale. And as you exhale, let's flow. So take your right fingertips forward, and then the palm will face up. And then just sweep your left arm up. And then exhale, the left arm will cascade down. And then switch. You'll notice that you'll rock side to side, and that's okay. Just begin to wake up the sides of your body. One more time on the right and left. Okay, and then pause in a seated position. And so you have this opportunity where you can stay seated in Sukhasana, easy seat, or you can come to sit up in Vajrasana, just sitting up onto your heels. It doesn't matter which. This just gives you a little bit more height and a little change of seat, okay? So I'll let you make that decision for yourself. And you're gonna take your hands back into that scooping shape. And as you inhale, let your arms come all the way up. And this time as you exhale, as you press your palms down, gaze forward and just start to walk your hands forward. And take your time like you were crawling them forward, whether your seat were in Vajrasana or Sukhasana. Stretch your finger pads forward, pull your chin forward, and then exhale, soften into a seated forward fold. Breathe into your back body. One more full round of breath before we flow. Okay. So now as you inhale, begin to crawl your hands towards your kneecaps, round your spine, navel gathers in, and then scoop your arms up and overhead. And then exhale, press your palms down, gaze forward, and then crawl your hands forward. Take your time, and we'll stay here just one round of breath. And on your next inhale, scoop your belly in, roll up, and then let your arms come all the way up. And then exhale, press them down, and make your way either into a seated forward fold or this variation of child's pose. And don't worry, one round of breath, just staying wherever you are. One more round, scoop your belly in, roll up, arms come all the way up. And exhale, press your hands down, walk your hands forward. And let's pause here, 3 rounds of breath, either in child's pose or a seated forward fold. Bow your head. And begin to breathe into the back of your neck. Wonderful. Okay, so stay bowed and your head tucked in, but just come up onto your finger pads so that your arms will be active. Now press your finger pads down and imagine that you were pulling the back of your wrists towards the front of the room. Elbows will lift. And now start to walk your finger pads towards the right side of your mat, top right side. Dial your left hip back as you stretch. And slowly walk your hands towards the midline and then towards the top left corner of your mat space. Walk your hands towards the midline, navel gathers in, and then slowly roll all the way up. Okay. And then grab a hold of your blanket if you're on a hardwood surface like we are. And then come into a tabletop position, hands and knees. So set yourself up here. If you're on a carpeted surface, you will probably be okay at home. Spread your fingers wide and tuck all 10 of your toes. Thigh bones stay perpendicular to the earth. Navel gathers in. And as you inhale, tip your sitting bones up. Soften your belly and pull your heart forward through the pillars of your arms. Exhale, press into your hands, knees, and toes. Round your spine, gaze behind you. And let's do a few rounds, waking up our spine. And use the entirety of the breath to initiate this motion of cow and cat. You're doing great. Nice full rounds of breath. Do one more complete round. On your next inhale, come into a neutral tabletop position. And if you're in the same room as me, turn so that you're facing the mirror side of the room. And that's just to make sure that you have enough space to your left and right. Yeah. And go ahead and extend your left foot out towards Colfax. Your toes will point in the same direction as your gaze. Right toes stay tucked. And then now walk your hands towards you and then come up to a gate position with your spine perpendicular. Okay. So I'm going to just face you so you can see me if you're behind the screen. And then slide your left hand down. Then inhale, raise your right arm up, sweep it up and overhead. Take a side bend. Breathe into the right side of your body, the outside of your hip. One more inhale. And as you exhale, as you wave your right arm down, gaze towards your right, look down at the space, and then place your right hand down underneath your right shoulder. Gaze up towards the left, and then inhale, sweep your left arm up and overhead. You'll notice that you're in a modified side plank. Imagine that you could lift your left hip up in space. Hips are stacked, gaze underneath your upper arm. Okay, so now listen carefully. You're gonna come up onto your right finger pads. Okay. Hug your navel in toward your spine. Wave your left arm down by your leg. And then inhale, come all the way up. Sweep your right arm up and overhead. So it's a big core movement. Inhale here. And then exhale, set the right palm down and come into a modified side plank. And again, make sure that your right knee is padded as you need to. And then inhale, come all the way up through a gate. Take your time. And then exhale, modified side plank. And imagine that your arms are moving through honey. So there's no rush. Try not to use any momentum for this movement. One more through gate. And then modified side plank. Right. Inhale, come up. You can just place your hands onto your hips. And I'd like you to gaze at your left foot. Swivel your left toes up. So you're on your left heel. And again, make sure that your right knee is padded. You might need it in a moment. And now make sure that your left knee can bend. And see if you can bend it so much that your left foot actually touches the ground. And then do a few pulsations. So bend into your left knee and then begin to straighten it slightly. And do a few more. So it looks like you're in this modified warrior 2 position on the left. Good. Bend into your left knee. Place your left forearm on the top of your left thigh. Gaze up towards the right and then inhale, raise and sweep your right arm up and overhead. And we're in a modified extended side angle. And lean the back of your head back slightly. One more full round of breath. Wonderful. And then begin to press into your left foot. Come up and adjust your foot. So left foot will face forward. Set your hands down and then tuck your left knee underneath you. Sway your hips from side to side. Okay. Right palm stays down. Inhale, sweep your left arm up and overhead. And circle out your wrists. And switch. And take a huge breath in here. And then exhale, dive your left arm underneath your chest. Come onto the outside of your left shoulder, gaze towards the right. Right hand can stay exactly where it is, or you can slide your right hand forward. Perhaps your arms make about a 90-degree angle. And some of us, I know, especially behind the screen, prefer to do this upright, just pulling the arm across the chest. And take whatever option you like, or perhaps you just got a COVID vaccine and you'll do this upright on the other side. One more full round of breath. And slide your right palm underneath your shoulder. Press into your palm and unthread your left arm up. And exhale, set the palm down. Okay. And then now, make sure that you have enough space to your right and extend your right leg out. Whole right foot will plant and your toes are pointing in the same direction as your gaze. Walk your hands towards you and come up. Left knee, make sure it's padded this time. And then slide your right hand down. Inhale, raise your left arm directly up for a gate. And for the first pass through, we hold. One more inhale. And as you exhale, come up. Gaze towards your left to where your left hand will go. And then gently set the left hand down underneath your shoulder. Sweep your right arm up and overhead. Come into a modified side plank on this side. Roll your right shoulder back slightly. And one more full round of breath. And so you know where we're going next. Wave your right arm down. Come up onto your left finger pads. Navel gathers in. And then move from gate on the inhale. And then exhale. Set your left palm down. If you come into a modified side plank. And again, imagine that your arms are moving through honey as you go from side to side. And most of your weight is being supported by your core here. Your arms are just the conduit of this action. So your wrists should feel little to no weight. Good. Then on your next inhale, come up. You can place your hands on your hips. Now gaze towards your right foot. And you'll do that swiveling action. So your right toes this time will lift up. And now bend your right knee until your right foot can plant. And then just pulse a couple of times, straightening through the right leg slightly, and then bending through your right knee. And now bend your right knee. Place your right forearm on the top of your right thigh and sweep your left arm up and overhead for an extended side angle with the back knee down. And this is one of those shapes that demonstrates that just because your back knee is down does not mean that the shape is any easier by any means. In fact, sometimes this is harder. And then slowly come up. Press into your right foot, straighten through your right leg, and turn your toes forward. And set your palms down and tuck your right knee underneath you. Sway your hips from side to side. And this time the left palm stays down. Sweep your right arm up and overhead and circle out your wrist. Inhale here. Then exhale, thread the right arm underneath your chest. Come onto the outside of your right shoulder, perhaps sliding the left arm forward, or take this upright, simply pulling the arm across your body. Just take a few slow breaths here. Breathe into the outside of your shoulder. And slide your left palm underneath the shoulder. Press into your palm and unthread your right arm up. Then exhale, set the palm down, returning to a tabletop position. And you can go ahead and face towards the front of the room once again. In tabletop, set your palms forward about a handprint. And press into your feet and then lift your sitting bones up, downward facing dog. Lift and spread your sitting bones. Rotate your arms so that your elbow creases face forward. Navel gathers in. And with your knees slightly bent, begin to lower your heels towards the earth. Breathe into the back of your legs. Take a few rounds of breath here in our first downward facing dog. On your next inhale, gaze forward between your thumbs. And as you exhale, slowly make your way towards the top of your space for a forward fold. Feet about hips width distance apart. That's 2 fists next to one another. Bend your knees more than you think you need to. Allow your belly to rest on the top of your thighs. And then pour your weight forward, perhaps clasping opposite hand to elbow point. And gaze behind you. Great. Release your elbows. Press down into your feet. Navel gathers in. And then slowly take 2 to 3 rounds of breath to roll all the way up. And once your spine is vertical, sweep your arms up and overhead. Palms to touch. And then exhale, bend your knees and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on shins or thighs, gaze forward. And exhale, fold, plant your palms and step back to a downward facing dog. Take your time, there's no rush. And from downward facing dog, inhale, wave your body forward to a plank position, top of a push-up. And then exhale, stay here, press your heels back and the crown of your head forward. One more inhale. And as you exhale, lower onto your belly. And of course, you can always lower your knees down or just make your way in one piece. Untuck your toes. And now lift your chest and tuck your elbows underneath your shoulders and extend your forearms forward. Your forearms will make the number 11. With your palms down, imagine that you were scooping or hollowing your belly. So draw your navel in, bow your head, like you could gaze at your belly button. Notice your hips lifted off your mat slightly. And now stretch your belly forward, pull your heart forward and gaze forward for Sphinx Asana. So that's just to maximize that stretch along the belly. Broaden through your collarbones and stay. One more round of breath. Inhale here. Then exhale, lower onto your belly. Slide your palms underneath your shoulders and tuck your toes. Press up through hands and knees or plank. Then exhale, downward facing dog. We'll do 2 more of that sun salutation. Inhale, gaze forward. And exhale, make your way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. Come to a standing position. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms. Step back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, wave your body forward to a plank. Exhale, lower down. Untuck your toes and return to that Sphinx position with the elbows under the shoulders. Okay, so from Sphinx, now just begin to do a few neck rolls. So move your ear towards one shoulder, doesn't matter which, and just circle out your head in space. And keep pulling your heart forward, broadening through your collarbones as you do this circular pattern, and then switch. And don't go so fast that you begin to get dizzy. Lower back onto your chest, slide your palms underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes. Press up through hands and knees or plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more round. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple forward to a plank. Exhale, lower. Untuck your toes, come back into a Sphinx asana. Okay, and we're gonna move through 3 rounds of a little pulsation. So as you inhale, imagine you were doing a crunch, so navel gathers in. Allow your shoulders to slump forward and tuck your chin towards your chest. Then exhale, start to stretch your belly, pull your heart forward, broaden through your collarbones. And do that 2 more times. Inhale, it's almost like we were doing a cat-cow motion of the spine in Sphinx. One more. And try to unclench your glutes as you complete this action. Lower onto your chest, slide your palms under your shoulders and tuck your toes. Press up through hands and knees or plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's pause here in downward facing dog for about 3 rounds of breath. Okay. From downward facing dog, inhale, gaze forward. And exhale, make your way towards the top of your space. Okay, so from here, please make sure that you have a blanket handy. And as you step your left foot back, you can lower your left knee onto your blanket. I won't do that here, just it'll make it simpler for the demoing. Left toes will stay tucked. Okay, so we're gonna do that same cat-cow motion here. So I'd like you to frame your fingers, frame your right foot with your finger pads. And you can always watch this first round. As you inhale, you're gonna imagine that you were just sinking your pelvis down and broadening through your collarbones through a low crescent moon shape. And as you exhale, just watch this first round. Press into your finger pads. Imagine that you were just doing this cat motion of the spine. Draw your nose and your kneecap towards one another and gaze at your belly button. Okay, and so let's do this little pulsation. Inhale through a crescent moon. And then exhale, pulse and press into the ball of your right foot to get a little leverage. And one more. Inhale. And exhale like you were coiling in on yourself. Good. Inhale, return to a crescent moon. And pause and sweep your arms up and overhead. And then exhale, bring your hands back into that shape. I'll do this from this side so you can see me with the finger pads together. And as you inhale, allow your fingertips to rise up and you'll swivel them at that point in front of your face. And then exhale, just bend into your right knee as you press your palms down. And we're talking like an additional inch here. Inhale, let your arms come up. You might want to come out of the shape slightly so that you can pulse, and exhale, settle in. And 2 more. One more. And set your palms down. And take your left foot and you're going to swivel it to the right. It's only going to go in one direction. If you try the other way, it's not going to want to go there. And we're going to return to that modified extended side angle. So place your right forearm on the top of your thigh. Gaze behind you and sweep your left arm up and overhead. Take 1 full round of breath here. Then inhale, come up through a modified warrior 2. Extend your arms forward and back. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Frame your right foot and adjust your left toes behind you. Pick up your back knee and step forward. And shake out your legs. You can tap the backs of your knees in the space behind you. Wonderful. And so we'll do that same thing on the other side. Step your right foot back behind you. And then lower your right knee down. Make sure it's padded. Frame your left foot with your finger pads, and we'll do that same pulsation, that curl. So inhale, bend into your left knee, gaze forward. And then exhale, just begin to curl in. Allow your spine to round and gaze behind you. And 2 more. And there's lots of ways that we can initiate the flexion and extension of our spine through many shapes. Inhale, gaze forward, pause, and then come up when you're ready. Crescent moon. Exhale, set your finger pads together, the palms face up. Inhale, scoop your arms up. Then exhale, press your palms down and maybe sink into your lunge about an inch. And 2 more like that. Inhale. And exhale, a little mini pulsation. 1 more. And set your palms down. Now swivel your right toes to the left, the only direction they're going to want to go. And then take your left forearm on the top of your left thigh. Press down into your forearm and sweep your right arm up and overhead. Just pause and breathe here. Modified extended side angle. Inhale, come up to a modified warrior 2. Extend your arms forward and back. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Adjust your right toes behind you and step forward. You might have to pick up your back knee a little bit and hop it forward. And shake out your legs. And so we'll do that whole sequence with the back knee lifted. And this is one of those moments where it might actually be a little bit easier to do with the back knee lifted. Step your left toes back. Okay, so this time with the back knee lifted, and you can watch this first round if you like. You're gonna inhale, your fingertips will be tented as you come into a low lunge. And then exhale, you'll keep this same shape of your legs and just start to curl your spine. Gaze behind you. Notice I'm still bending through my right knee. You can pull the left heel forward slightly. And so let's do 3 of these. Inhale and exhale. Like you could slide a sheet of paper in between your belly and your thigh. And 1 more. Inhale, come into a low lunge position. Pause, make sure you feel stable in your feet, and then come up. High crescent lunge. And then exhale, set your palms in front of your belly. And then we'll do 3 rounds. Inhale. And then exhale, that same movement we've been doing. And notice I'm pulsing through my right knee slightly, just to create a little fluidity. And as you exhale, set your palms down to frame your right foot. Pivot your left foot so it's parallel to the back edge of your mat. And then open up into a warrior 2. Inhale, tip back, reverse warrior. And then exhale, extended side angle. Right forearm on the top of your right thigh. Sweep your left arm up and overhead. 1 more inhale. And stay for the exhale. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Frame your right foot. Swivel your left heel up and step forward. And shake out your legs. Let's do that on the other side. Step your right toes back. And so you know the pattern now. We're gonna do 3 rounds of that cat-cow motion through a low lunge. Inhale, low lunge, gaze forward. And then exhale, curl in. Notice that your right heel can move forward as if you could bring your nose and your kneecap towards one another, and do 3 more like this. Maintain this low lunge shape of the legs. 1 more. Inhale, low lunge, gaze forward. When you feel stable, come all the way up. Then exhale, bring your hands together. And then 3 rounds of this scooping action of the hands. And exhale, press your palms down. And 2 more. And because a little balance and stability is involved, just make sure that you're looking at a space in front of you that's not moving. Set your palms down. Swivel your right heel. And then open up into a warrior two on the left. Inhale, tip back, reverse warrior. And then exhale, extended side angle. And pause here for a full round of breath. Lean back and gaze underneath your upper arm. Inhale, come up for a warrior two. And exhale, cartwheel your hands down. And swivel your back heel up. And then step forward. Shake out your legs. Okay. We have one last pass through. And we're going to add some shapes and then also subtract some of our repetitions. Step your left foot back behind you for a low lunge. We're just going to do one round of that little cat-cow. Inhale, low lunge. And just one time, exhale, pulse in, curl, and round your spine. Inhale, low lunge, gaze forward. And then come up whenever you're ready. And then set your palms in front of your navel. Just one round, inhale, letting your arms rise. And then exhale, press your palms forward and down. And set your palms down, swivel your left foot, and come up for a warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, tip back. And exhale, extended side angle. And as you inhale, come up for a warrior two. And then pause here. Look at your right leg and begin to straighten it. Heel toe your back foot in slightly. Reach forward with your right fingertips. And then set your right palm on the top of your right shin as you sweep your left arm directly up for a Trikonasana triangle shape. And then just pause here for a moment. We're going to do an arm flow in a moment. See if you can lift up your left hip point like you were being pulled up by a string. Inhale here. And as you exhale, take your left fingertips and begin to sweep them down towards the left. And then as you inhale, trace the inside edge of your right arm. Raise your left arm up. And exhale, swim it down. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Now from here, set both palms down and turn your toes to face the side of your mat space. You're in a wide-legged forward fold. From here, you can walk your hands in line with your feet, bend your elbows and hinge forward. Just gaze behind you. You're doing great. Walk your hands forward. Now look at your left foot, and you're going to walk your hands towards your left foot. Swivel both feet so that you're in a low lunge position on the left. And we'll repeat that whole thing. And I know you're facing away from me, but you know this pattern by now. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, low lunge. And then just stay here. When you feel ready, come all the way up. Exhale, hands and finger pads together. One round, scooping the arms forward and up. Exhale, sink down as you press your palms down. Palms come down. Swivel your back heel down and then open up into a warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, tip back. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, warrior two. And now look at your left foot. Press into your left foot, straighten through the left leg. Heel toe your right foot in slightly so you're in a little bit more of a narrow base. Reach your left finger pads towards Colfax. And then set the left palm down on top of your shin. Sweep your right arm up. Trikonasana triangle. See if you can gaze up towards your right thumb. Inhale here. And then exhale, swim the right arm down. And as you trace the inside edge of your left arm, allow your fingertips to rise. And exhale, swim them down. One more. Now set both hands down. Swivel your toes towards the side of your mat space. Okay, so from here, let's do my favorite Prasarita shift. So gaze forward, your legs are wide, and then walk them forward as much as you can. As if you were coming into a downward facing dog. Spread your fingers wide. From here, press your butt back. And spread your sitting bones and breathe into the back of your legs. So your body is slightly askew. Nothing is really aligned here. Gaze forward towards your thumbs. And as you inhale, shift forward until your shoulders are over your wrists. You might feel like you were coming onto the balls of your feet. And then exhale, push your butt back in space. And do 2 more like this. Inhale. And then exhale. 1 more. And then inhale. Just start to walk your hands towards you. Heel toe your feet towards one another. And come to a seat on your mat. Begin to extend your legs out in front of you, but keep them slightly bent so that your heels are anchored. Okay, so you know that I'm not an advocate for removing the flesh from out from underneath you because you need that. That's why we have butts to begin with. So just begin to shimmy it back. The goal is tilting the pelvis forward. So you still have padding. Okay, knees slightly bent, pull your heart forward and flex your toes. And now walk your hands towards your feet and perhaps beyond. Stretch out through the backs of your legs. And if you can maintain this pelvic tilt forward, now you can bow your head. Take a few slow breaths here. Notice if you can feel your rib cage and belly on top of your thighs. And if you can, bend your knees more. And slowly walk your hands towards you and roll up. Bring the soles of your feet together and your knees open wide. And so from here, we're actually gonna push the heels forward. So we're in a little bit more of a wide Baddha Konasana shape. Shimmy the sitting bones back. And then slide your hands down the insides of your legs. Perhaps you can clasp your ankles. And then just allow your spine to round as if you can bring the crown of your head forward towards the arches of your feet. Don't force them to touch. Breathe into the sides of your legs. It's just a different variation of Baddha Konasana. And slowly roll all the way up. And then make sure that you have enough space behind you. You might want to scoot your seat forward and lay all the way down. Bring your feet wide and your knees together for a constructive rest or a lunar bridge. You can place your hands at your low belly to remind it to stay soft as we slow the pace of our practice down. Even though today's class has been focused on the spine and the core, we'll do a little bit for the hips to close. Slowly heel toe your feet towards one another. And cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh for a supine figure 4 shape. Flex your right foot and take your right palm and press against the inside of your right thigh. Push your knee away from you as much as you can. And just widen the space around your right hip. can stay here with your left foot down, or you can begin to gather your legs in, interlacing your fingers behind your left thigh. You can also pulse your left heel up and down. Lots of options. Just don't do any movements that feel forced here. Okay. Release the clasp of your thigh and set your left foot down. Maintain this figure four shape in the legs. Okay, so we're gonna move into one of my favorite lateral hip stretches. Take your left hand and see if you can reach for your right ankle. If it seems really far away, you can always scoot your heel in slightly, or you can also grab a hold of your shin. And you're gonna turn your figure four on its side. And so you can always take a peek towards the front of the room or the screen. So your legs will stay in figure four, and you're gonna roll onto your left hip until your left foot touches or until your right foot touches the ground. Okay, so I'll do that again. In figure four, you'll roll onto your left hip, right foot will touch the ground. And in that moment, begin to pull your right knee away from you. Roll your left shoulder back, your right shoulder back. And use the leverage of your palm and shin towards one another to open up to the outside of your right hip. Release your right ankle or shin. And you're going to slowly unhook the ankle and go ahead and just stack your right knee over your left. And you'll be in a supine twist with your knees stacked. Might take a little bit of adjusting or swiveling. Whenever you're ready, roll onto your back. Set your feet down. And then cross your left ankle over your right. Flex your left toes. Take your left palm and push your left knee away from you. Create space. You can stay here or gather your legs in. Take whatever variation you like, maybe pulsing the right heel up and down. And set your right foot down. Maintain this figure four shape in your legs. And we'll move into the lateral hip stretch. And so reach for your left ankle or shin with the right hand and turn your figure four on its side. You'll roll onto your right hip and your left foot will come down. And then pull your left knee directly up and away from you. Roll the left shoulder back. Gaze up or towards the left. If you are someone for whom pigeon is not a great shape for your body, this is a great alternative. That involves a lot less compression along the hip, a lot less weight. Release your ankle and then swivel your heel back so that your right knee can be underneath your left, knees stacked. Let's come into a supine twist. Slowly roll onto your back. Make sure that your spine is long, but also in the middle of your mat. That your hips are neither to the right or left. And gather your thighs in towards you. Wrap your arms around your shins. You can stay here in this supine child's pose or reach for the outsides of your feet for a happy baby. If you're taking happy baby, flex both of your feet. Knees gather towards either side of your rib cage. And slowly release the outsides of your feet and bring your knees together. Press your low back down and peel the back of your head up. Bring the tip of your nose towards your kneecaps and curl in. And take a huge breath in here. And as you exhale, release for Shavasana. Extend your legs and allow your body to take up space. Soften your shoulders back away from your earlobes. Broaden through your collarbone. Relax your chest and belly. Soften the muscles in your face, especially between your eyebrows and your jaw. Allow your whole body to sink down in sand. And allow your body to rest here. And I'll call you back momentarily. So you can keep your body relaxed and your eyes closed. Notice the surging flow of breath as it pours into your chest and belly. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And stretch your arms up and overhead. And gather your knees in towards your chest and roll to one side. Press your palms into the earth and come up to sitting. Once you're seated, swivel your hands on top of your heart. And breathe into the base of your hands. Spread your fingers wide across your chest. And as we bow our head towards our heart, we honor one another. And when you're ready, lift your gaze. Thank you so much for joining me.